Good morning. Oh, hello. Okay. Thanks. I hope everyone is having a good uh Wednesday morning. I had to think of what day it was. And I hope that school, work, and everything else that is going on in everyone's lives is going well. Um, Today we are going to be talking about um the fact that Christ was rejected in his hometown of Nazareth. Something that, before I get into it, something that I find very important is the fact that of what he says specifically about a prophet is really important, and I want you really to think about it when we read it. So, reflection on Mark 6:1-7. He left there and came to his hometown, and his disciples followed him. When the Sabbath came, he began to teach in the synagogue, and many who heard were astonished. Can't English. Where did this man get these things? They said, "What is this wisdom that has been given to him, and how are these miracles performed by his hands? Isn't this the carpenter, the son of Mary, and the brother of James, Joseph's, Joe? Don't think I pronounced that right. Judas and Simon, and aren't his sisters here with us?" So they were offended by him. Jesus said to them, "A prophet is not without honor except in his hometown, among his relatives, and in his household." He was not able to do a miracle there except that he laid his hands on a few sick people and healed them. And he was amazed at their unbelief. He was going around the villages teaching. Actually, that is another thing that I want to touch on. But before I touch on that, this is different from the perspective of where we're at, because I want you to think about this question: have you ever been rejected? Has your home or hometown ever rejected you? Specifically, I want you to think about for your faith. Now, I know there are some of us in the church and um, throughout the faith that have family members who are not in the faith and does not believe in God. But where are we with that? Are we willing to share the gospel with them? The fact that he says to them, "A prophet is not without honor, except in his hometown, among his relatives, and in his household." I find that interesting because if you remember a lot of the prophets from the Old Testament, they were always without honor in their hometowns, in their among their relatives, among their household. They were treated harshly within their people. But one thing I do also want to mention, because we talked about this 2 weeks ago, we remember his brothers, James, Joas. I'm saying that name wrong, but whatever. Judas and Simon. Four names are being mentioned, and we're not even really given much about them except for specifically James, because of many theologians and scholars have come and, from what I remember, have put together that he was the one that wrote the book of James. But I find it interesting that they mention his mother, and then they're like, "Aren't his sisters here with us?" They don't even say the names. They're just like, "Aren't those sisters of his here?" I find that kind of rude, but it's whatever. I know many times women were not respected in the fact that um, um, they should be, and one thing that I find amazing is we actually just discussed it on Tuesday, the girl being restored and a woman being healed. Both I forgot to mention, I believe, yesterday, of one being 12 years old, the girl, and the woman being struck with that uh, bleeding for 12 years. So that is very interesting. Uh, uh, Side by side uh, situation there. Now, are you willing to speak the truth if it means to be rejected? With verse 2 of the chapter, it makes a reference to Matthew 28:20 when Mark mentions Christ teaching them. So, excuse me, when I was looking at what the um, verses here in the middle from my CSB, you cannot see it from there. Let's see, right there. I don't think I was pointing at the right area, anyways. But within the middle here, it mentions uh, when the Sabbath came, he began to teach, and by teach it mentions Matthew 28:20, which we all know the Great Commission, and it said. Um, Teaching them to observe everything I have commanded you, and remember, I am with you always to the end of the age. So he's teaching them. He's constantly teaching them, and that's kind of the thing that I do love about Scripture is the mentioning of how he's teaching them. And I'm going to try to do this quickly because I keep yawning. And so that I think is really interesting. Why is it important for the people to mention where Jesus comes from within the community? Why is it important that they are like, wait, isn't he just a carpenter? Isn't he just the son of Mary? And aren't these his brothers and aren't his sisters here with us? Where's his father? I still wonder that to this day. I actually don't have an answer for that, but it's fine. But these are the questions that I have. But when you think of what's going on, this is 6 chapters into the Gospel of Mark, and he's done miracles. He's done amazing healings, and he's casted out evil spirits, and he's done amazing things. But within his own hometown, he was not able to do a miracle there, except that he laid his hands on a few sick people and healed them. And he was amazed. This is what I find interesting. He was amazed at their unbelief. He was going around the villages teaching. Why, you might ask, would Christ be amazed? He's God. He knows, knows our hearts. It mentions multiple times when the Pharisees and Sadducees are talking behind his back, and he's like, "Why are you doing that? Like, what are you doing?" But at the same time, it's like he knows what's in our hearts, but he's still amazed by their unbelief because of just how bad it is. At least in my opinion, it is horribly bad that they had such bad unbelief. Okay, I'm almost done. That's all I have with all this yawning. I cannot do any more with that. I do apologize. Let us not forget, we have Mere Christianity tonight, chapter 5, I believe. That is, yeah, chapter 5. I'm very excited to get into that. Wait, chapter 4. I'm sorry. We're in the next chapter. Whatever chapter we haven't read already, we're in that chapter. And let us not forget, we are in 2nd John this Sunday. And I hope everyone has a good rest of your day. And just so we're clear, I'm recording this the night before, and that is why I keep yawning, and because I'm very tired. So I will see everyone tonight, and I hope that everyone has a fantastic rest of your day.